up again. Hello again.
Hopeful One Online. That was very funny.
Yep. That's my Eve probe, and it was supposed to go to Lathe,
Kind of
which, yeah,
sounds
kind of
like you
failed.
missed a little bit.
Well, the problem was that I had nowhere near enough Delta V, and I was out of phase with Joule, so I was never gonna get to Lathe unless I had like 5,000 more Delta V, which is terrible.
You fired it out of sync, just a little.
Yeah, it was only a couple of degrees too, but that just goes to show the severity of course corrections required in case you get out of phase. Like I had to spend over like 1,500 delta V to actually get on an intercept with Joule, and that was still like 1.2 something gigameters, which is ridiculous. So on the way back into the Kerbal system after my Joule encounter, I was messing around with maneuver nodes and stuff, and I found a maneuver that would actually get me to Eve with very little delta V. So I executed that one. I had to remove some delta V from the probe lander in order to actually get that working.
Yeah.
But in the end, I still had enough delta V to get onto Eve's collision course, so I landed directly on Eve, which is fantastic. And like you know how Curiosity has like the 7 minutes of terror landing thing.
Yeah.
Try 10 seconds. Six
Sounds like fewer than I would have preferred.
6,000 meters per second on reentry.
Well, it's a good thing they didn't include heat. Otherwise, no matter how strong your probe is, it wouldn't have survived.
Yeah, the heat shield I had definitely wouldn't have made it. Nothing would have made it then. So kids, be sure to
Turn off your heat physics.
and be sure to get into orbit before you land, or slow down significantly.
Yeah.
So yeah, Hopeful One was a terrible
Yeah.
failure.
You never named anything hopeful. What makes
Well,
it
I
hopeful?
originally it was named Faithful One because but then it ended up not having enough delta V, so it wasn't very faithful to the mission. But and the engineers were hopeful that we would be able to get it to Eve, and we did get it to Eve, so it's a fitting name, I suppose.
Maybe. Still sounds like it would have made a very interesting NASA mission.
Yeah.
Almost made it, and then we had to turn left and drop by on another planet because we didn't have enough fuel.
Yep. That's Kerbal Space Program for you, folks.
NASA would get a lot more places if it acted like Kerbal Space Program, but it'd probably have a significantly larger budget.
Probably. I mean, like, the Kerbals are obsessed with space. Space is their life. But,
Space is their final front. It is the final frontier, and for them, it seems to be the only frontier.
yep. It's like, oh, we've explored everything on Kerbin, and we can go to anywhere else now. Where should we
And
go?
everyone just jumps at the chance to leave the planet.
Space! Yeah, it is a small planet, only 600 kilometers diameter, so it would be kind of cramped, I think.
Yeah, but then again, Earth isn't getting more cramped.
Yeah, that's true. Uh, I'm just waiting till we get things like big space stations, Skylon, uh, more efficient space transportation means, and everything.
Yeah, more efficient launch vehicles is the big thing. Either that, or we might not even need more efficient launch vehicles if we have more efficient, or if we have manufacturing in space, because then all you need to do is ship the stuff up there and you build it up there. That cut down on most of the cost.
Indeed, it would.
Von Neumann probes, that's the way to go.
Yep. Hardcore von Neumann. Do 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 do
It
do.
was space.
Space.
If KSP ever gets a multiplayer setting, I'm going to go on it as Von Neumann.
That'd be fantastic.
much modeling for your Orbitus. I've been kind of busy moving.
Yep, understandable. Such is life. Life gets in the way.
Bad.
Yep. There are a lot of devlog entries today.
Yeah, I was just looking at them.
Yeah, let's
Well,
go.
looking at them and your recent post.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, we're streaming now. Hooray! That's the most recent one. The one before that is pictures and great successes and everything along those lines.
Flags! So many
Flags!
flags.
Yes, we need to open that one as well. Dan Rosas. Thank you, sir.
And they're doing heavy level optimization.
Yes, I am very much looking forward to that. That is going to be fantastic.
I just wish
And
they can make it so that we can dictate how much RAM they're actually using, because I've got 16 gigs here and I don't use most of it ever.
yeah, this computer that I'm on is terrible. I really need to get my own. It's going to be uber powerful. I hope. Uh, Shush. Let's get over to
Such beautiful flags.
devblogs. Devblags. According, this is what Harv's is called. The devblogs, devblags, dev
And guess what? The flags have a flapping animation.
flapping. Yay!
Yes.
Rigging and joints and stuff I don't understand.
And so many flags.
So many flags. GIFs. We've got GIFs. We've got images. We've got
Scroll
got
back up.
comments.
Nice animated piece.
Got rigs and we've got animations, which look fantastic. Very good job, Dan.
Yeah.
So we can cover that in a moment. This is just little Harv's little rant about development asymptotes or um, darn it, I forgot the term. It's something to do with like the yield reducing law of reducing yield, I think it is, or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, we're like exponential growth is a more accurate thing because you keep going on the x-axis, but the effort required on the y-axis increases. So yeah, it's getting more difficult to develop new parts of currently things. So like flight, they've got a less.
1 second. What?
Oh, yep.
I'm sorry, I'm a dev. Give me a sec. I gotta mute. Got
Yep.
someone on the.
Yep.
Roommates.
Yep, college and stuff.
Yeah. It's just
Indeed.
like space. The faster you go, the more energy it takes to get that little bit more delta V.
Yep. So Harv made like a crater farming analogy. So yeah, it's basically getting harder for them to add more stuff to stuff that's already heavily emphasized. So like the flight, construction, I think that's like ship construction and stuff. Maybe some colonization. Career has been basically untouched until now. So it's going to be pretty easy to get career stuff going until you get up about here, and then it's going to get harder. So that's just a fact of life. Exponential growth. Math supports it very strongly. So don't rage at the devs because it's hard, because the updates come a little bit slower, even though they say they come faster. I actually like how fast they're coming now. It's like not like, oh, you got an update. No, you just finally got your first rocket into space. Oh, new update. It's not like that. That would be terrible. That would put more people away from it. That would put more people off than slow updates. Yep. Kerbal Seats. Just look at how much fun they're having.
No. Thanks, mate.
So yeah, basically docking ports for Kerbals and everything. So you can just ride them around. This little vehicle Harv has looks fantastic. I really
Holy.
want to fly this around. Yeah, they have to do the animations for those because they don't really have Kerbal sitting animations for EVA quite yet. So at least they're making some progress for that. Um, Flags. We have this lovely GIF showing off the animations with all the different flags on them, the waving animation, and like plans that they were going to go through, including a special shader, dynamic joints, and such, flag previews, um, directors and stuff, unofficial NASA patches,
Seems like they're
and
gonna make it so that we can create our own flags relatively simply.
yeah, it's going to be a 256 by 100 PNG. Oh, excuse me. It's going to be a 256 by 100 GIF, no, PNG file, not GIFs. GIFs are these. They are animated. Derp, derp, derp. So yeah, it's going to be a 256 by 100 PNG that you can just put into a folder, which will be part of the new file structure for KSP in theory. So you can just put the flag images into that file, that folder, I mean. I just cannot talk or think today. I'm tired. Yeah, you just put the images into that folder, and then you can change the flag's texture in-game once you actually plant a flag with an EV8 Kerbal, which is very exciting. It's the first step in career mode, is actually claiming your own territory. So that's very exciting. It's going to simplify things a lot. As is the new file structure and file loader. That should optimize performance on its own pretty significantly. And then with the terrain on demand, that's what it was. With the terrain on demand, that'll optimize it immensely as well. So we can look forward to some pretty heavy optimizations, I think. Better file loading structure and terrain on demand. So that should be nice. And Kerbal seats, which look awesome. Yes.
If they get them in.
They should. All they have to do is animations, so that should be fairly fast.
And it seems to me that some of the modding community has already figured out a bit of the animations for this, how the animations for the seats are supposed to work.
Yeah, SFR's plugin gets the job done, except the one problem that it has is that it's kind of buggy.
Just a little. But then again, this is Kerbal Space Program.
Yep.
Very little is not buggy.
Indeed. And I think when you hopped on Skype, it kind of killed the music, which I had running. So let's put that back on.
Bad, man.
Oop. There we go. That's back. There we go. And I actually have notes for this stream. So,
Sit back, relax, and enjoy Orbitus's
notes. I could put that on the stream if I wanted to, but I really don't care to. That would require creating a new button and everything. So, no thank you. Yeah, so they're making progress with KSP 0.20, which is exciting. It's getting close to finished, I think, relatively. Puffin Technology stuff. I haven't made a ton of progress with the Frameshift 2. I've been focusing on learning the KSP API because I am definitely going into plugin writing.
Woohoo!
Yay! Plugins and coding is my thing. I can do models, and if you've seen the Frameshift 2, you should know that.
You are pretty epic at doing the
Yeah, the one issue with it is the number of parts or game objects when it's in Unity, which is quite ridiculous. I should really learn rigging before I actually release that and then rig everything up. Unfortunately, that's just more time on my part. I could be using to actually model stuff and write plugins and everything. So yeah, I might do that. I might also hand the rigging and stuff over to Mech once you figure that out,
Yeah.
because I'm going into plugin writing. I have a history with Unity. I've coded a lot of stuff for Unity. Um, I've written a lot of my own code. Um, and KSP is pretty easy. Squad and Harv and everybody have done a very good job of actually making it easy to mod using plugins and stuff. And even if it's just for their sake, they've done a good job of making it easy for us to plug in write plugins and such. So, uh,
Thanks to if any of the dev teams listening, thank you guys.
indeed. So yeah, I'm going into writing plugins. I currently have a work in progress, and that is the heatsink module. Let me.
Plugin thing.
Yes, module heatsink is the thing it is called. And basically, what it does is you can stick it on the side of a part, and it will subtract heat from that part, cooling it down. So, as you can see, I have SRBs with linear RCS ports, and thanks to Fujiwana for actually pointing out that the standard heat system actually distributes the heat a little bit more evenly, so attaching stuff to these SRBs will prevent them from overheating and exploding most of the time. So yeah, here I just have linear RCS ports on here. Same heat capacity, same max temp, everything as these, which are the actual heat, which are the linear RCS ports with module heatsink attached. And you can obviously tell that the SRBs are running a lot cooler, and they've got less fuel over here, obviously, so they've been running for longer than these ones have, and they're still cooler. And yeah, you can't throttle down SRBs, so no hacks there besides the heatsink plugin. So that's progress. I actually have written the little bit of code that uh, makes it black body heatsink or regular heatsink. So it can either absorb all the heat and not overheat itself, or it can absorb the heat and overheat. That'll be a little Easter egg I leave in the code, so you'll have to actually mess around with that if you want to make it a black body. I won't tell you what variable that will be, but it is a boolean. So all you have to do is figure that out, and then you can play with black body heat sinks all you want.
Custom ways to keep things from exploding. Sounds
Indeed.
rather unkerbal, doesn't it?
I mean, my coding might be a little Kerbal-ish. Let's pull up MonoDevelop real quick. It takes an age to load, unfortunately, so it might be a little while. So yeah, I'm writing plugins now. Once I finish Frameshift 2 and Monoprobe 2, if I want to do Monoprobe 2, it depends. Oh well. Frameshift 2 will definitely come out. I don't know about Monoprobe 2. That might be something later if we ever get more modelers and whatnot. I don't think we will, but that might be for something for later. So we'll definitely do Frameshift 2. That might actually come up with a plugin. I'm kind of going with priorities of what I can do easily. So Frameshift 2 is easy because it's almost done. All I have to do is grab the model from the computer, um, where I've actually been making progress on it, and then implement that, find some way to optimize the meshes and decrease the number of objects. Uh, but once that's ready, I can write the plugin that will manage that, and voila, we got frame shifts that actually run with a bubble.
Bubble effect. I hate to be one to say this, but we might. I hate to be the one to say this because you did such a brilliant. Your model is really pretty, but we might have wanted to make it more blocky. Just the whole structure more blocky and less, elegant looking. Because it is elegant, but that's really graphics intensive, isn't it?
Yeah, like I could change the normals and everything to make it run more efficiently. I could probably remove some faces. Um,
Quite a few faces.
yeah. Uh, yeah, I'll have to actually do some testing with it in KSP, and this is a pretty weak computer, so if it runs well on my computer, it should run well on just about any computer, unless it's ancient. Uh, but there might be a couple of little issues with the FrameShift plugin. It mainly depends on KSP's physics system, physics subsystem rather. It uses the base Unity physics system. The only foreseeable issue I have is whether or not the ship will actually be able to move
That's a
after.
pretty big one.
Yeah, because I mean, I suppose I could actually mess around with the hierarchy and stuff, but it's gonna be probably a little bit of a mess, and it'll require some optimization. Fortunately, I can code better and I understand a lot more of the concepts than I do with modeling. So that should be easier for me to do. Um,
It looks like I'm probably the only one who's watching this.
yeah. Oh well, keep recording. Just carry
We have
on.
proof this was our idea.
Yes, carry on. I could play that song if I wanted to, but I shall not. Actually, I don't own it. I would have to get it from YouTube. But such is life. So yeah, heatsink is a work in progress. It's almost done. Once you can get those models finished mech, then we'll be able to test release that, get some feedback from the users and everything. See what I can improve. Because I think once I finish the plugin, all we have to do is make sure the configs are nice and balanced, which shouldn't be too tough. Yeah, yeah. So another plan I have is the VAB and SPH tweakables. Now that's been something that people like Nova and Harv and everybody at Squad have been talking about for a little while, and I have actually been messing around with code that can actually do that a little bit. So uh, I don't really have anything to present at this time because I'm working on the heatsink currently. But once I get the heatsink finished, I can definitely devote some attention to finishing the frame shift, and then I can work on the tweakables mod plugin. So basically, what that'll do is it'll allow you to edit the resources stored in a fuel tank, so that you can have big fuel tanks holding xenon
And power.
and everything. Yeah.
And they'll calculate the weight and such for that.
Yeah, well, the weight is already calculated by the amount of resource in that object, so that's a thing by default. All it'll do is it'll change the resource that's stored, and then KSP will do the rest of the math and figure out what it has to do to make sure it weighs the right amount. So it'll require some research into the API for me, so it might take a little while, but I definitely think it'll be worth it in the end.
Well, to be honest, tweakables are supposed to be coming up in either this update or the next one.
Well, I don't think that they were actually announced. Let's go. Where is where is it? Let's just go back to the forum because that's probably got it on there. Updated on the 0.20 update. It's an article, not a blog post. So yes. They're planning on flags, Kerbal seats, which both of which they have pretty much ready. All they have to do is test it and such. The new game database loader is in testing. The loading buffer scene is in testing. On-demand terrain assets and map filtering are in testing. Kerbal Knowledge Base by Romfarer is under development. It's probably gotten pretty close to testing phase, I would think. And more parts, always more parts. So, yeah, no tweakables yet. That'll probably be more career mode stuff. But if I could get it done before then, that'd be kind of hilarious. So I'll be messing around with the KSB API, figuring out what I can figure out. Lots of testing for that, because it's a very big part of the editor. I need to actually make sure that things I am doing will work. So it'll be a while. So yeah, for now, we'll finish the heat sinks, finish Frameshift 2, and then I'll probably work on the resource tweak module. And that will be my summer project, because in 2 weeks exactly, no, a little less than 2 weeks exactly, I am out of school, and so I can devote all my time to programming. And work. And work. Because it'd be nice to get my own computer and all that. So yeah, I'll have a lot of time to work on the resource tweak plugin. What do my notes say next? Yeah, possible execution. I basically... No, I don't want to think about this now, because then it'll just be me thinking and talking to myself out loud, and that'll be awkward. So, no thinking about that yet, Orbitus. We can deal with that later. What else should we do?
You can deal with that later.
Deal with this later. Anything interesting to show off on the forums? I don't think so.
I can't think of anything that we've got to show off on the forums, but I've got to say a big shout out to, well, the maker of the base C9 parts.
Back 9, yes.
Yeah.
They've been out for a while, but they're still, like, awesome.
Yeah. I mean, B9 Aerospace.
It's like it took a while for him to actually get an update out from
version 1 to version now.
Yeah, version 2.5. But it's definitely worth it in the end. I mean,
he had so many good parts, and to be honest, the dude has got amazing talent.
Yeah, like, it's so simple, and yet it looks so elegant. You cannot beat Back 9.
Other modders should ascribe to do what he does. And we are. That's why we're doing the modding.
Yep. Yeah. I think we were actually around, like, we had actually made the original Frameshift before the original B9 Aerospace.
Nah, B9 Aerospace was out. I tested the first version of Frameshift with version 1 point something or other of the BAC9 for the Back 9 Aerospace mod. I tested it with that, and it was the perfect cockpit for the larger
Oh yeah,
torque.
yeah. Derp to derp.
Yeah. So
I think I was thinking of my horrendous old Helix Industrial Systems medical module. That is
yeah, that was
basically
around
dead.
before he releases. I think he releases about a month after your Helix Industries Power Guzzler module.
Yeah, it's basically like a trash can is what it looks like. So that's dead. That's
A
never gonna
trash
come
can
back.
made power.
Yep.
I mean, seriously, power.
Yeah, it was supposed to eat power, but it's kind of.
Not as much as it did.
I didn't think it ate too much, but
Dude, I built
it's never
after
good.
he released it, I built a long range spacecraft with it. It went into the shadow of the moon and lost all its battery.
Well, that's kind of what I was hoping it would do. Like it will eat power.
Yeah, I had to add a toggle to it so that I could turn it off. So that I actually get anywhere.
Oh, there's a lot of new comments that I missed. Yeah, I just had a bunch of mods on there for the launcher. Uh, yep. More dedicated modules. I don't know Linden guitar. Roleplay station and put a lot of dish. Yeah. I don't think so. I don't think I'll do more of this sort of thing unless I'm like utterly bored writing Polygons, which I probably won't be for a while. Um, so yeah, this will probably be a end of the line thing.
What about that module you're doing for the group ISS project?
The quest. No,
Yep,
we don't want
quest module.
Google. Quest to joint airlock. And I don't like it how it doesn't keep me logged in. Come on, you. Hurry up. I should probably just hook it up to my Twitter account so I just stay logged in all the time. Yeah. This is basically all I've got for Quest. I've got part of the texture done. I just need to move that little bit over. I don't know if I'll actually ever get around to finishing it. Um, I know I sent it to W. Cole, and he sent it to Bobcat so that Bobcat could do the little ISS fly around. I don't think I'll ever finish the Quest joint airlock. It might be Bobcat or somebody. You know, for progress in science and all that. Just running through Imgur pictures and stuff.
I like the meme you got there. The meme Kerbal.
Come back.
Well, that's a really good one too.
Come on.
Nice
Download.
7 minutes of terror right there.
Yeah, download Monoprobe to use this kinetic missile. Kinetic? Kinetic. Kinetic. Thank you. I cannot talk ever. It might be because I'm thirsty. I'll be right back. Take me like 10 seconds or so.
Get a drink.
There we go. There we go. Yeah, Curiosity style mission here. Uh, it was kind of a disaster. I mean, like
Like Curiosity
this.
almost was. No.
Yeah, no, my Curiosity makes mine look. Well, mine looks noobish anyway. Basically, what happened was the engines were not hooked up to the fuel tanks, so I had to activate infinite fuel. And even when that happened, it flipped over, and I ended up landing on the sky crane. Needless to say, the Kerbal engineers that were behind that were fired.
I'm just imagining it's coming down. Is it 5 minutes and camera turns back on and
It's
all the
upside down.
engineers
What?
simultaneously facepalm.
Yep. So yeah, terrible center of mass for that.
Huh.
Sorry. People are just coming home. Uh, People are arriving from an art show and stuff. Nothing terribly fancy besides my precision landing. Debris from this or from the orbital stage almost hit the landing. The runway is so precise. It's just ridiculous.
Were you
Uh,
piloting or was MechJeb?
I was piloting that. I was using MechJeb to supplement my landing trajectory, or actually show me where I was landing. I used MechJeb as more of a supplement and ASAS and stuff. Um, hmm.
Yeah, I can't really. I cannot fly without MechJeb, so.
Although MechJeb 2 appears to be having issues, like it just consistently flips my rockets over. So
Oh
when
no, I'm playing with MechJeb too, and every time I try to use the rockets to fire, it never uses the SAS system.
yeah, that's something I've noticed as well. Like when my rocket should look like what should it look like? I don't really have any good comparable pictures. But when my rocket should look good, it looks like it like turns out to be like this. So Ring of Fire burns, burns, burns.
Explodiness.
Yeah, not good. And we have solar panels impaled on things as well. That's a terrible picture. I should probably explain
Yeah.
that. Yeah, it's good for ASAS and telling you where you're gonna land and everything. Um, so yeah, this is a space station I'm working on, and it's terribly laggy already. I think the hard drive on this computer is kind of bad. So yet another reason why I should get my own computer.
Oh no, actually, that's a problem with the mod that you got there.
Oh, KSPX. Yeah,
No, actually, not
or
KSPX.
or
I think
Jarfer.
it's the
The
tri struts.
Yeah, I've noticed that they were kind of laggy when I was loading the Octostruts into the VAB. So, uh, maybe
Well,
start a new space station again. Joy. Oh,
I had to
whoop.
start a new. I ended up starting a new file, new space program, effectively because I built a couple shit. I built a space station with one of the Jafar struts, and then I built a long range nuclear rocket. You know, one of the ones with the nuke engines and just tons of fuel in
Yeah,
front of it. Just a little hauler, just a hauler. You know, for some smaller, less well equipped
designed.
ships.
Yep.
And it connected up to the
Designed.
space station, and then the whole thing starts oscillating. Right?
Oh
I
no.
set the time dilation up high, and every single one of the Jafar struts has popped out of position. All of them.
Well then.
Yeah,
Yeah, great.
it's the Jafar struts, dude.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, Somebody, you've done a fantastic job, but it might be good to do some optimization, maybe.
Maybe optimization. Maybe there's something in the three strut shape that the code just doesn't like.
I think it's just. I think, like he even said on the dev thread, that that low poly, adding low poly piping was the big issue. Because I think the older versions performed fantastically, and then
Oh
now
yeah,
it's just like,
it did.
bleh. Um.
If it didn't have pipes, it was fine. And then once you added pipes and fuel tanks, games started getting.
Oh. Yeah. So time to deorbit this one and start a new station. Again.
Use a monoprobe as a kinetic missile.
Whee! It's actually pretty smart. One of the things I did want to do with the monoprobe is add a radio launcher that's basically a cannon. So the decoupling force on that is
would
like
go.
500 or something. So it just goes.
You're gonna have a lot of recoil on the space station. You could use that to pop your space station to a higher orbit.
Ooh. Yeah.
I
Logic.
remember back in the early versions when Jelly Cubes when Jelly Cubes came out with the first what was it the first kinetic gun.
Mhm.
I used to have so much fun with that. Just
Yeah.
put a space station up and have launch a gun on it. You'd hit a target on the ground and boost your space station to a higher orbit.
Yeah, like a boss.
Like a boss. Oh, I see you landed on the moon with a Kerbal there. What's the spaceship? Underneath the rocket test fire of the Chimera.
Chimera, yes. So this is like over dramatic picture, I suppose. It's very dramatic and very nice.
Hello.
Hello, there's someone else on the live stream.
He's hacking into my microphone. Go away. We don't need you. We don't need you. We don't need you. You can watch, but you can't talk. Man, it's
Hello,
like
I
I've
guess you're the little sister, right?
little siblings, yes.
Uh,
I feel like Scott Manley. Scott Manley's got all of his kids running around. Yeah, Orion and I don't remember what his little girl's name is. Yeah.
Scott Manley there.
Hello, it's Scott Manley here. So yeah,
No, we're
Imgur
not-
really
I don't know.
Imgur really messed up the order of these. I don't know why. So the previous picture was them with their happy faces, and then this is the explanation behind why they're so happy. They found a rock.
And it's within range of the landing site, and they wanted to land next to it.
Yep. Well, actually, I didn't intend to land on anything, and I did a pretty good job of that. I think I did that landing manually. And this is just the return. I could have probably made the communications array decouplable. Well, I like the size of it. It looks very cool. I
Yeah,
just
it
probably
looks
should have made
really
it
too.
decouple. Yeah. What's
Someday in
this?
the distant future, an alien looks up at the sky with his little sensor and discovers, wait, some Earthlings have landed on the moon somewhere.
Uh-oh. So this is my Curiosity mission heading to Duna. Just, and this is very early in my days of KSP .18 and such. This was before I was using mods, I think.
Ooh, neat
So
lander.
yeah, the Kerbal did not come with it. Kerbal not included. I just landed this remote probe, and it's been sitting there ever since. Remy, I think this was Remy 2. Remy, like kind of a play on words from remote. Yeah. You've got Hopeful on its way to Eve. So here's Hopeful 1 here, and then there's Eve. Little tiny dot right there. Well, not so tiny.
Relatively small.
Yeah, relatively
You
small.
landed
And
your
then,
first Venusian bro. Congratulations. How do you feel?
oh, I feel fantastic. Oh, man. Me messing around with Romfair's Canadarm 2. I mounted it on the top of a command pod and put the command pod on the launch pad and then moved the arm. Not much to see here, folks.
I'm seriously thinking that I'm going to, if Ronfair makes some smaller versions of those, I'm going to figure out how to make a spider walker using only those arms. For those really low gravity situations.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah, that would be amazing, wouldn't it?
That'd be something for 3-bit to figure out, because he's the guy who does all the like the cool craft files for Puffin Technologies.
I did the first craft files.
Yeah.
I remember back in the days when the craft files were easy to make.
Yeah.
Too easy.
Yeah. You did a fantastic job with
with
the frame
with the frame
shift.
shift radial.
That thing looks awesome.
Yeah, to be honest, I couldn't figure out how to put the frame shift radial not frame shift radial into orbit without building using a mod part.
Yeah.
Frame shift engine radial.
Yeah, this ship just looks so cool. I mean, like,
That is the sort of ship that you could fly around the Kerbal system with.
yeah, if you were going like hardcore sci-fi and everything. And it's original mechanical Orbitus 2 conglomerate. Puffin Technologies is now our name.
Yep, the place to go when you need completely ridiculous solutions.
To all the things. I think we actually updated that. I have to go
Place
to
the glowy
page.
blue side up.
The glowy blue side goes up.
I got messages from a couple of people saying, "Hey, which side of the radial frameshift engine has the thrust?" And I was like, "Point the glowy blue side up. Refer to the page." It wasn't in the comments; it was in PM. Sorry, I wish it would have been in the comments because that would be really funny.
I should probably
Smallest
log
radials
in.
make my ship swirl uncontrollably. Yep. Yeah.
Did I put that in right? I did. I did. Uh. This is where we want to go.
Comments. How do you
Frog.
fix this? To Jesse Lee Arbuckle. Oh, so the daughter of
Itch.
Interesting. Yes, if
Make
you are
sure
listening, yeah,
you
place
are
them
using
radially
symmetry to.
using at least 3 times symmetry. If for the radial frame shift, use 3 times symmetry, always, or higher.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend them for anything in atmosphere unless it's a straight up rocket, just because you need perfect symmetry for these.
Definitely. Finding Puffin Technologies. Here it is. We actually changed that. The logo.
To a
Yeah.
puffin.
Yay! I'm actually working on a new version of the Puffin
Yes.
logo.
It looks like a really cool puffin. You know that guy who makes the mods for the flags that you stick onto things?
The decals, yeah.
Yeah, the
decals.
Can you get? I recommend that we ask him to turn that into a decal because that looks perfect for one.
Yeah, this will probably be just like a thing you stick on the side of your rocket. I'd probably just make this a example or like a concept art decal because I'm not gonna actually use this one for the final. I have a good reference picture, so I'll be using that. So yeah, the Puffin Technologies slogan is now the place to go when you absolutely positively must have ridiculous solutions to space.
Everything
So
really. We have a blender, but we don't want to. It might not be a good idea for us to shift that one. It's blended beef.
yep.
Turbo blender. Can it really blend everything? Yes.
Yes, it can blend space. That's basically what the frame shifts
We should
fuel
make that
tanks
into
do.
an engine. Just a dedicated engine that looks like a blender. You see it on the back.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Turn it on. You see the fans whirling, and then it shoots off.
Like, oh, goodbye, space.
And in atmosphere, it generates a big vortex. That could be part of the plug-in.
Yay!
That'd be really cool.
That'd be hilarious.
Need a place to get rid of your spacecraft? Turn on the blender in proximity and watch as your spacecraft debris gets sucked in and destroyed.
Ooh, I know what I can do for that. What I can do for the blender of doom is have two values. So the first value is no. Yes, I can do two values. The first value is basically the time it takes for the blender to start up. And then after it doesn't invoke a method to actually change the thrust for the part from 0 to c. And what it might c be, you ask? Well, c is only the speed of light. Yeah, so say goodbye to your rocket. And say hello to the Kraken, because he's having dinner.
As I've experienced trying to push something to the speed of light, the Kraken likes to snack on things moving anywhere near that velocity.
Om nom nom.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be quite hilarious.
Yes, it would.
I really don't know what to talk about, and my notes didn't account for this. Didn't account for the lack of content.
Hey, to anyone who's listening, if anyone decides to listen to this after the fact, ooh, it looks like someone else is listening. Hi, whoever it is. If anyone else is listening, just
Trower.
go on.
Hello, Trower.
Hello. Anyway, whoever's listening and whoever hears this, go to the forums and post any particularly interesting things that you might like to see in KSP, and if you think a blender is a good idea, if we make a blender engine.
So yeah, just go to the Puffin Technologies release thread. It's on page 3 of the add-on releases and project showcase, because it should change fairly soon once you actually finish the models for the heat sinks. We'll do a test release of that, and then we shall move Puffin Technologies to the front page, because it sorts by time.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, and
So yeah.
posted it last. So yeah, go either to the add-on release thread and look for Puffin, or go to the add-on development thread and look for Puffin.
And then here's the development thread with pretty graphics and an update as of April 21st. I should probably update that so that it actually fits the plan and the information that we have.
Yeah.
So yeah, go to the Puffin Technologies threads and tell us what you think. Feedback is always a good part, and it's what KSP is all about. It's all about feedback for the developers to improve the product. Hello.
Greetings to anyone who's nice enough to actually listen to us.
Oh, it looks like 3. Who might they be?
3 people are listening, yes!
Great success!
Yay, we finally have a fan base!
Woohoo! We're going mainstream.
Not even close.
Puffin Technology is too mainstream.
No.
We have to satisfy all the hipsters. Nah.
Sure, go ahead, mate.
No hipsters. Slam!
You did that just as my roommate closed one of my roommates closed the door into this room.
Yep. Yeah, if Puffin Technologies went mainstream, I would be all like, come on. I would be all like this. Great success. Like, that's literally what my face would be like. My hair would shorten and I would grow a mustache, and that's what I would look like. Which would be kind of strange and yet oddly coincidental. Yeah,
There's
say
nothing
good.
much else to talk about, is there?
No, there's really not. Notes.
Look to your notes for inspiration.
I have 3 topics. That is the 0.20 update for KSP, Puffin Technology stuff, Frameshift 2 heatsink, VAB SPH tweakable topic, and that's all for Puffin Technologies. And then anything else we can come up with, which is nothing, besides blenders and confusion.
I actually do have one question. Do you think that the guys at KSP are going to end up putting in really hardcore sci-fi things like our Frameshift drive or some other sci-fi thingy? I doubt they're going to include hyperdrive, but never know.
I think they'll still just leave that. up to the modding community to do that. So you don't have to use the frame shift, but if you want to, it's on the spaceport. I really, I'd really like it if they could do like the spaceport accessible from uh, KSP directly. Uh, I can see that happening with the new file structure. Like if they can actually get that to work, if or with the new file structure, it should just be easy to download and everything.
It would allow you. Well, we could. They could also set it up so it could be set up on Steam too.
Yeah, that would be good.
Since I can't took a welcome, someone says welcome to the chat room. Puffin Tech in the forums. Since I know you're probably listening, yeah, I put up the link, but unfortunately, I don't have an account on Twitch. So Orbitus, if you'd be so kind as to put up a link into the chat room.
Indeed.
Woohoo!
There's the release thread. And
the dev thread.
The development thread. Yeah. So, not much going on besides heat sinks and tweakables, maybe, and frame shifts and explosions.
And that's just Kerbal Space Program.
Yeah, such is life in KSP. I think Cybutech should be kind of happy with the heatsink part, because when I was watching his stream a couple days ago, he actually was launching some stuff into space for a lunar space station, and the engines kept exploding on his orbital insertion stage. So, yeah, goodbye engines, and yeah. So he's like, darn it, not again. So I was like, I could probably figure something out so that I can fix that. So that's why I've developed the heatsink module, which is basically done. All I have to do is implement the code that I developed today. And then, no, I developed it yesterday. Anyway, all I have to do is implement that little bit of code, and then it should be ready for test release.
Yes, explosions are good was written on the thing. So yeah, explosions are good. Which reminds me, if when we do get the frame shift V2 out and it comes with the bubble effect for the bubble drive, that should be a name, bubble drive.
Bubble drive.
Yeah, the bubble drive.
Spits little bubbles.
Warp drive for the frame shift comes out. Will the plugin make it so that it will blow up if it's activated in atmosphere?
I
think we might have some trouble with the radial engines if we try to build or use the radials for that sort of plugin.
I could probably figure out a way to destroy it in atmosphere. I mean, that's very basic stuff. It's all it is a part dot destroy. Let me look that up. KSP Wiki. To the wiki.
Massive destruction. And anything outside the bubble will get destroyed too. So, if you have a really, really big station and you attach a small frame shift drive to it, expect the frame shift drive to blow it up.
If I can figure it out. I know that there's definitely going to be some problems with it. The one way I think of doing it, the one way I can think of actually getting the frame shift to work is by using a trigger that would be created in Unity, and it would have such and such a radius that can be reset in KSP via the config file. But the way that I'm currently thinking of is, like, it'll probably mess up the physics systems. So it's just part.explode, I think.
Would that mess up the physics systems?
No, destroying the part shouldn't mess up the physics systems, it'll just mess up your rocket.
Yes.
But I know for a fact that using the trigger to deactivate or enable is kinematic on the rigid bodies that manage the parts would really screw it up. So that might take a little while to actually get working. So, yeah. But I can figure it out, but it might just not be.
Take a while.
Yeah. The frame shift
Everybody.
is a toroidal design. It is a torus.
Yeah, it is a toroidal design. The idea, I got the idea from a sci-fi book by not Stephen Baxter. Where is it? I've got it somewhere in my library that I cart around everywhere in college. Um, it was a design developed for moving planets. So yeah, toroidal design that twists space around it. The whole idea was that the torus would be sort of like a cross section of a larger bubble that the engine would generate in a well, think oblong egg shape around your ship, and
Ooh.
that would allow that bubble would then move instead of your ship actually moving, which would be pretty cool. But I have no idea how that's be set up, and Orbitus is learning how to plug in how to.
Yeah, I'm actually very familiar with Unity's API, so that's how the heatsink was so easy for me, because all it is like like apparently there's like part uh parent that is the part that it's attached to, which would really simplify it. But I was able to use get component and everything. So like even with a lack of knowledge with KSP's API, I can figure it out. So I might switch this over. The wiki is not very good for listing how to actually implement these. I like Unity's script reference a lot better because this is terrible. It's part parent. How do I implement that? It's probably just part dot parent, but I'll mess around with that. Yeah.
It should be the part and then part name, part parent. See, list part children. I have no idea. I don't plug in. I know how to use MATLAB and a couple other programs, but not this.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yes,
I didn't. I didn't notice that. I didn't
children.
notice that variable. I didn't notice this until now. Thanks for pointing that out,
Temperature,
cause
which part will explode? Callback editor detach.
uh,
Callback one editor destroy. Oh, that's cool. So that's what happens when the part gets deleted. Huh.
I might have to use some of these for the tweakables.
Yeah.
Um,
You figure out how to implement them. Although before that happens, we should get the frame shift done and the radiators done.
yeah, the resource tweaking will definitely be later in the updated work cycle. Um, yeah, there's probably going to be some issues with the frame shifts plugin. So,
This is
like,
KSP. There will be issues.
I'm just
Oh
I'm
god,
just
what if it
banging
doesn't like
my
MechJeb?
uh MacJeb doesn't like it already. It's just like throttle up, throttle down, throttle up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down.
Yeah, well, it's not actually throttle or the MechJeb 2.0, the dev version that I'm playing with. It's okay with it because you
Oh,
can set the maximum acceleration and such.
oh, that's
I
good.
said no, it does not have maximum acceleration, so it'll throttle up and keep pushing.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely going to be issues with the frame shifts plugin. There's going to be a lot of head desking as I'm trying to plug it, as I'm trying to
And
code it.
to whoever wrote explosions are good, yes, there will be lots of those too.
Yes. Lots of explosions during testing. Because this is KSP with frame shifts and explosions.
If
Oh,
well, the only other weird thing about frame shift in the sci-fi book I got it from was that it you could have more than one ship close together, and then you turn on the frame shift and it capture that ship. I don't think we should be able to do that with this. I don't think we'll be able to actually do that in KSP.
probably not. That would really That
It
would
would
be a
require
pain.
a lot of weird stuff to happen.
That would be a pain.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what I was thinking of. There's a concept for a faster than light engine, which is not technically faster than light. It's relativity. It's called an Alcubierre drive. It basically compresses.
Oh, I know what that one is.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on. Say for everybody who's listening who doesn't know what it is.
I. Yes,
Alcubierre
that's what
drive.
it is. It compresses space in front of you and expands it behind you, and thus it
You
propels
fall
you.
toward the compressed space, but since you're falling in toward the compressed space, it doesn't have an actual distance attributed with the compression, since the compression is moving. So it would allow you to theoretically access faster than light as long as the space in which you're falling into allows for FTL movement.
Yeah, and technically, I mean, it's not strictly faster than light, but it is faster than light. It's kind of a paradox um, because you're not moving. Because
Faster than light
relative,
within the space you're moving.
yeah, you're moving faster than light relative to the space in front of you, but slower than light
Relative to the
on
space
an
behind. Or it's the other way around.
relative
Faster
to
than light
space.
to the space in front of you and slower than light to the space behind you.
Yes, and then you're moving probably not at all relative to the space that you're occupying.
Yeah, this is actually a prime component of something called the Abercrombie. The Abercrombie drive, which is a version of the drive, is actually being tested on Earth right now for subatomic particles. A number of scientists are using it to create a warp field, which is supposed to encapsulate a certain area of space-time, and then that space-time then moves. It's an idea behind. It's the same sort of principle behind the frameshift drive, except that it would allow you to move faster than the speed of light because it's moving the space around your ship instead of the ship itself.
Yeah, unfortunately, faster than light travel requires tachyons, which are basically faster than light particles.
Not with the Abercrombie drive. The idea is that you end up within a wave of space-time, and the wave moves you rather than the space-time itself, which has some little issues. For example, a ship equipped with an Abercrombie drive, when you turn on the drive, you'd end up with sort of like a wave front of matter that's being moved faster than the speed of light, and due to the fact that it's not actually interacting with the space that you're within, it ends up being on where the front of your space-time distortion would be. So when you turn off the drive, you end up with this massive disruption of particles that's not moving in the exact same direction as you were just moving, at the same speed as you were moving, but since it's not being kept on the wave front, it suddenly jumps back from FTL to STL, meaning you end up with a huge amount of lost energy.
Yeah.
I go to an aerospace college. This is the sort of stuff we talk about for fun.
Yeah. Yeah, aerospace is awesome.
Oh yeah, but the upside, if from a Kerbal's perspective, is that if you activate this drive in another solar system and you arrive, anything in the path of of your ship when it turns down the engine gets obliterated by the massive release of energy.
Bye bye.
Yeah, and you could go straight through suns and take chunks of planets and stars with you.
Yeah,
So,
and and then there's and then there like we have a lot of theoretical faster than light drives, but then there's things like in Halo, there's the slip space drive.
yeah.
No idea if that like the Alcubierre drive is at least remotely possible if we can achieve faster than light particles.
And the Abercrombie drive is actually working. They're currently testing versions of it that are working on photons.
But slip space is just it's one of those things that's cool, but it's probably never going to happen no matter where we get technologically.
Well, there's another. I'll quote for you. There's a book, okay, called Old Man's War, which any of the most hardcore sci-fi readers might know. It's about this 75-year-old man who's drafted into a military, who voluntarily drafts himself into a military in the future that fights aliens and blows up planets and stuff. And they've got a faster than light drive that is actually very similar to the slip space drive. Let me see if I can find the page. Give me a sec. Uh,
Uh,
let's see.
Bussard
Drive
Ramjet.
time. I need to check it.
Bussard Ramjet. Oh, those are some cool pictures already.
Oh, there. That's where it's called. It's called a skip drive. And what it does is
Skip
it
drive.
chunks you into a parallel universe.
Oh
That is
my.
identical to our universe, except for the position of like an electron somewhere.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a really neat idea because the whole apparently in their universe, in that universe, space and time, um, there's a small but not non-zero chance that any piece of matter can cease to exist somewhere and reappear somewhere else, right? And it just and apparently the drive just takes the numbers and messes with them.
Interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of faster than light theories and everything. It's a huge
It's the holy
field.
grail of science fiction. It's the holy grail of space travel
And theoretical physics and everything.
and engineering. You build something that can withstand FTL speeds, you are a god.
Yeah. Which we are not, so.
So we're modding Kerbal Space Program.
Yay! Great success.
Yeah, we're wannabe gods.
Yeah. We're relatively close. If you
Yeah,
could.
although if you do build a fast and light engine in Kerbal Space Program, I have with the frameshift drive, your ship will be attacked by the Kraken. So I wouldn't recommend it. Unless you
Yeah.
want to lose the ship.
Oh, yeah. Glutton for punishment, eh?
Jeremiah Kerbal, first Kerbal to reach fast and light travel, and guess what? They lost him when he decided to take an EVA walk at light speed.
Oh no.
I actually ended up accidentally swatting him with Jewel.
Ow!
Yeah.
Wow, that is painful.
And I'm surprised I actually hit anything. I just pointed the engine away from Kerbal and turned it on and kept the throttle up. 25 minutes later, I was moving at FTL.
Wee.
Took a lot of solar panels to power the thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I was testing the frame shift with infinite fuel and everything, and I was like aiming it into.
You
I was aiming it.
Duna and got there.
I was aiming it at moon because like, how fast can we get a moon encounter? Oh, 9 minutes, 8 minutes, 7 minutes. Oh, we're going straight into moon. Okay, let's just fly towards it. Fly. Oh, okay, okay. Burn normal, burn normal. Oh, we're skimming across the surface at 1,000 meters at several thousand meters a second. It's ridiculous.
There's the moon and Italian.
Goodbye. I was like, I should probably slow down. No, it's not even worth it. End flight.
Yeah. Oh, you still have that picture of the frameshift drive over Duna?
I really need to get
It equals
another
interstellar
monitor.
hydrogen.
IT. IT,
Oh.
the acronym.
Oh yeah. To
Bait.
be honest, we can't really use interstellar hydrogen out here. I mean, not fit, but get the real relativistic effects. You know what? To be honest, I've worked with a bunch of guys who've crunched the numbers for Buzzard Ramjets, and it's not worth it. I mean, it's worth it to get to another star system, but it's not worth it to use in system. I mean, I wonder if anyone who's listening has heard of the magnetosphere drive. It would use the magnetic field of planets to bump itself out from one over to another. Think about every planet like a trampoline. Okay, when you get close enough to it, you get enough jumping force to pop yourself from one planet to the next. Magnetic pulse drive would allow you to do that. Yeah, not practical in your system. magnetic field drive is actually perfect for that because you turn it on one way to get yourself out of the system, and you turn it on the other way to brake. And if you could use the star itself to slingshot into higher orbits.
Yep.
You're really close to the sun. Perfect. Turn on the drive. Use its own magnetic field. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a plug-in idea someone had that I might do after tweakable resources and frame shift and heat sinks and everything. It was the magnetosphere and radiation. Uh,
Yeah.
so
If you could just get the magnetosphere to work, that allow for that drive to be active.
yeah, that's
And the
that's.
radiation. There's a
Hey,
guy who's working on a solar sail engine. He might really like to know about that.
yeah, I've looked at that. I think it's gonna work fairly well, depending on how he accomplishes it. Um, but yeah, basically what I personally would do for the radiation and stuff, is use a float curve based on the altitude from said planet, from said orbiting body. So with Joule, for instance, you would have the float curve at such an altitude to be low radiation and at such an altitude to be high radiation. So, like if you were, like the radiation belt that is around Io and everything, or Lathe, uh, according to research people have done, um, like you could do a float curve to actually change the radiation so that the radiation is higher at a certain point. So, if you're close to Kerbal, then radiation is going to be higher.
For a magnetic field drive.
Um, for just like electromagnetic radiation and stuff, and then
Well, I gotta say that you'd have to take into account where the sun is as well and the magnetic field strength because Jupiter has the biggest magnetic field in the solar system next to the sun. It stretches from almost to the asteroid belt to literally to Saturn's orbit. It is massive, and if you're within that, if you look at Earth's magnetic field, it is puny. And if you look at the field density sometime, the same density field that Earth has, you could get by being in orbit around Jupiter and several of its moons.
yeah, and that's why I use the float curve, and I probably use vector 3 dot distance. Because like you can just do the altitude, but if you're on but if you're outside of the sphere of influence, it's not gonna return the altitude around that body, and vector 3 dot distance it allows you to take the distance from the current ship to the body that you want. So I can use a float curve, and then have that applied, and then have the value based off of the distance vector, the magnitude of the vector between the two.
Sounds like a plan.
And then for planets with magnetospheres, I would.
Say this, dude, but it sounds like you're echoing horribly on this end.
Oh no. Really.
Oh, jeez. Is anyone who's listening any more questions you want to put up on the chat room? Not necessarily. Vasimir is a good design for intersystem drive. Fusion.
Is that better?
Yeah, fusion powers. If we want to get anywhere, practically anywhere, fusion's going to have to be is the holy grail of power if they can get it to work, and they will be able to get it to work. There are two current fusion plants in development on Earth right now. So, congratulations to anyone who knows about that, and if you don't, now you know. We'll have fusion power within the next 10 years, at least in France.
France.
Yeah, there's supposed to be an American one, but they're at least 5-10 years behind.
Yeah, because we don't care about sciences. That's the one major issue that's the one big piece of beef that I have with like American society, is that no one cares about science.
Or, preventing us from going extinct.
Yeah, like recently I wrote a research paper on Isaac Asimov's book Foundation, and one of the
I love that one.
major yeah, it's a very good book. Uh, One of the major points that I argued is that if you don't like have a society that's educated and can maintain the technology, that technology will collapse, and then society, which is so dependent on technology, will collapse shortly afterwards. And I can foresee that happening, unfortunately.
In the United States,
Yeah.
certainly. In other countries are luckier in the science sense.
Yeah, I think like Germany's huge on technology,
Oh yeah,
science.
big time.
It might
Germany, even Russia's beating us at this one.
yeah, it might just be the fact that I'm like hugely German and Danish blooded.
Nah, it's not just that.
Yeah. It's also the fact that I'm obsessed with science. Science is awesome.
Blinding me with science. Do 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 do. Yeah, science is really important.
Yeah.
Science, mathematics, anything that will be that can teach us more about why things are the way they are is always important.
Hmm.
No matter who you are, where you are, or what's going on at the current time.
Yeah.
And that's a word.
Yeah. Science is underemphasized, and it's a problem.
Always.
We seriously need to, and like, we have all these people obsessing over getting people to Mars, and it's like, yay, cool, Mars is
But
awesome
Mars is really close.
relative to things like Jupiter's moons and such.
Yeah, but you also have to think that guess which planet's closer? Venus. Why aren't we trying to get people there?
Yeah, and then there's Moon. And then there's our moon for Pete's sake.
Not
So
Earth's moon.
not Moon, there's Luna, which is our moon. So, uh, like we've got all these people like Mars One wanting to make like colonies on Mars. And yes, that's cool. I admire their effort, but quite frankly, we should be going to the moon first. We've been
Yeah.
there, but the moon is the perfect testing ground. It's 3 days away, which is very short relative to other things. Like, even Mars on a good intercept trajectory is 6 months.
6 months there and back. Oh no, so it's 3 months there, 3 months back.
Yeah, that's a round trip, and that's pretty terrible. Um,
Yeah, and if
we
we're
don't
gonna
even
think
have.
about this realistically, we're gonna need an orbit. We're gonna need a base in orbit around the moon before we even think about getting to Mars with decent sized ships, because you're gonna need lots of fuel in orbit. Actually, no. The first thing we need to do is we need to get refueling facilities in orbit around the Earth, then in orbit around the moon, then space bases around the moon, and then bases on the moon. Just do that order,
Yeah,
because that'll allow us to chart how not just our ships react to the changes, but how people react to the changes. Because if you've got a crew, we don't even know everything that happens to the human body in space, because we've never no human has ever left the Earth's magnetosphere.
yeah,
That,
we and the most time that someone's been in space is like 5 months.
no, it's been for a couple people have been up there for over a year. But even so, that's
Oh,
not
that's
very
right. Yeah.
long. We're talking about if you want to be running trips to and from Mars. Mars has next to no magnetic field relative to the Earth. So it'd be like being out near the moon, out on the moon, perpetually for the whole time you're there, and then you have to deal with all the radiation you're going to run into and other interesting little details that are going to be on the space between the Earth and the Mars.
And for goodness sake, we need artificial gravity before we're actually gonna try that. And we're like, oh, we're just gonna go straight to Mars.
And
No,
you
we're
gotta be
not.
like, no, you can't even start with Mars. You gotta start with the moon.
Yep.
I mean, if you want to go to Mars, sure. First, you have to go to you have to get off the planet. Then you have to go to our orbiting facility that has refueling around the Earth. Then that'll bump you up to the facility around Mars, where you then dock with the massive ship that'll actually get you to Mars.
Yeah, to the
Then
surface,
you get there.
which could probably be a Skylon or something.
Something equivalent.
But
Yeah.
what needs to happen is we need to actually get orbital construction stations. So
Yes.
we need to be mining resources from the moon,
Yeah.
transferring processing those resources, transferring them up, and then building stuff.
If we're really smart, we'll use probes to start harvesting asteroids, get them in orbit around the moon first.
Yeah.
Because it's always easier to access something in zero gravity than it is to access something in gravity.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff we need to do before we can actually realistically get to Mars and have
Yep.
people stay there for extended periods of time and return.
Yeah. So, yes, realistically, Inner System's going to have fusion power for the power supply. Engines, we're going to need nuclear, Vasimir drives, or something similar. Because, I mean, my roommate, one of my suite mates, actually, I could bring him in here if you want to talk to him. But he and some of his buddies did a project for a laser powered solar sail, which would be capable from going from 0 to 3,500 kilometers a second in just under 35 minutes.
That is that's very good.
Yeah, that's very good. Of course, it'd be a payload of what 300 kilograms, but the
Oh.
sail itself would be a total of 3 kilometers to a side, which is pretty small.
Yeah, that relatively comparing it to conventional solar sails, that's very small.
Yep, but of course that's only a payload just a bit bigger than a man, right? But if
Hmm.
we figure out how to cryogenically freeze people, that's not a problem.
Like, all right, good night, sir. We'll see you in space.
We'll see you in 3 months and Mars. We'll see you on Mars, and then all you have
Yeah.
to do is build something to catch those people.
Yeah, cryostasis is one of the biggest is like
If
that'd be very useful as well.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah,
sleep,
you could have people traveling through space and like
sleep.
yeah,
No time to become bored. No time to entertain thoughts of killing all your fellow passengers.
no thoughts to worry about getting your ship infested with aliens.
Yeah, although to be realistically, I don't know why if an alien would want to infect a ship, but sure, why not? Aliens.
Well, alien for Pete's sake. I mean, they were designed to kill us. Anyway,
Yeah, but I gotta say, if you think about it, if you're gonna be in space, right? Think about this practically as a person who plays a Kerbal Space Program. You know how hard it is to land. You know how hard it is to get off the planet. Why would you want to go anywhere with a crazy race of anything? I mean, just think about it. As an alien visiting Earth, would you really want to visit a species of crazy monkey people who have invented nukes and haven't blown themselves up yet?
yeah, keyword there is yet.
Yet. Oh, yeah, include the phrase xenophobic in there. Xenophobic apes.
Yeah, that would not be fun.
No. And guess what? You are a xenophobic ape.
Mad scientist and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the practicality of a lot of space stuff is just out of the question right now.
Yeah. Lol. Yes, I see you're lolling. I see the lol of people on the interwebs.
Interwebs. I have four interwebs. Well, four Wi-Fi's. I don't know how many interwebs I have.
You have all the interwebs.
I have all
If
of
you're
them.
connected to one, yeah, if you're connected to one, you have them all.
You see,
Collect them all.
I have two interweb windows and then four more, so I have six interwebs. Plus, I have all the streaming software and stuff. I have lots of interwebs. Or you could go with like interwebs are accounts across the internet. I don't want to count. Yeah, we will definitely get there with our technology, but um, it's not practical to go to Mars with people
A
currently.
lot of research and development has happened before I made it possible. Actually, you know what's the bigger issue? Is funding. Kerbal Space Program, you don't have funding to worry about. Scientists and engineers need to. So, yeah, there are plans that will get us to to Mars, and there were plans that will get us to the moon and into space and all that, and Skylon and all that stuff. But
It's
to get there,
funding.
we need lots of money, lots and lots of money.
Yeah, the issue that Reaction Engines right now is having with actually developing Skylon is funding. They have the hypercoolant system ready. They just need the funding to continue it.
Moon is more practical till things get going. Well, yeah, and it's the jumping off point for everybody else. It's the closest thing for us. Any
Now,
closer, we need to physically park something closer.
if
So,
Earth had a Minmus equivalent, that would be better.
Actually, no. The moon would still be the jump off point because it's got enough gravity that you don't need to generate too much artificial for people
Yes.
to, be relatively comfortable. And then you got to deal with if the moon's larger, so there's more likelihood of materials being available on the ground that we can use. And it's large, so it'll have a radiation shield zone.
Yeah, that's true. Minmus is more of a comet that's captured in Kerbin's field orbit.
It's a nice little practice position.
And it's good for research.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to put dangerous research bases anywhere, I'd put them on. I put them on Minmus.
Yep.
I gotta run. Nice chatting with you guys. Nice listening to you guys.
Yeah.
Nice getting responses, and nice to know we're actually being listened to.
Yeah, I think we are. I think I'm just about done
And
as
I'm
well.
more to prattle on about.
Yeah. Yeah. That was about 2 hours. Not bad. Not bad at all.
A lot shorter than the last one.
Last one was just about. Let me check the YouTubes.
It felt longer.
Yeah. Come on, YouTube's load. There's my playlist. The last live
Okay,
stream.
Bye, whoever it is.
That is Trower. Farewell, Trower.
We shall miss you, man.
And I think I will shut this down. So,
Was that
farewell, everybody. It was a good time. It was a good time indeed.
Goodbye, mate. We shall see you all later.
Indeed.